listening to Oilersnation Radio, a member of the Nation network of podcasts and delivered by DoorDash. 1 hour of straight hockey talk with Dan, Rick, Tyler, and Bag Milk starts now.
And Zach.
What is that intro? It sounded different to me.
That's because we weren't talking over it.
Oh.
You guys all forgot to crack your beers.
I guess it just... Oh,
waited.
1 sec.
I cracked my beer during the intro.
I was
You
right
heard
after.
it. You can go back if
There
you
we
hit
go.
the rewind button.
It's Friday afternoon. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Oilersnation Radio, episode 168. Bag Milk here. We got a full house today. Dan, Rick, Tyler, all here. Zach Lang sitting in on this one as well because we are getting back to Nation HQ. It's nice to have people back in the mix a little bit more. Zach?
Zach just walked into the office and was like, this is my desk. I'm going to put all my stuff from home here. I was like,
You just claimed it.
Yeah, I claimed it. I got a Chris Pronger figurine, a Ryan Smith figurine, and an Oilers flag that's going to come with me. Too.
Squatters' rights.
Damn
Yeah.
rights, baby.
Well, as soon as that table got set up in the corner, I'm like, that's mine, and don't even bother.
Things
Anybody.
change
Yeah.
every day, though.
Yes.
Well, that's true, but I wanted to sit by the big man, so
Well, and I also have been pushing for my own office up here as well. I think I might
office
just
guy.
go steal one from Oodle Noodle's side, but we'll see what happens.
Are there extra ones over there?
There's extra ones over there. So I might just take one. And like Rick said, squatters' rights. But
What are they going to do?
but then once in a while, you'll have to pretend that you work for Oodle Noodle. So you'll be
I
like,
do
talking.
work for Oodle Noodle.
Fair enough. But people will walk by, you'll be talking about like hockey, then you'll have to be like, and the latest
Butter chicken and-
butter chicken is, and then when they walk away, you can go back talking hockey.
But you got to be careful, though. Is it going to be like at a party when you're on the good couch and you really got to pee, but as soon as you get up, someone's stealing your spot.
Yeah, so that's why I'll just take the cushion with me. I think that's going to be the approach. So this
No, you can
specific
lock it up.
case-
You can lock it up like George in his bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah. I like
that.
that. Or I'll just light all my stuff on fire and you can't have it. If I can't have it, then no one can.
Take my ball and going home.
All right, let's get to work here. Tyler, as we do every week, we start off the podcast with our Oodle Noodle Delicious Debate. What do you got for us?
Leon Draisaitl, he's a hot guy.
Yes, he
He's
is.
on pace for 84 goals. But like he said, Leon said it, I'm not going to score 82 goals this year.
He didn't say that. He said, "Do you expect
Oh,
me
yeah.
to?"
Yeah,
so
sorry.
he never once said he won't do it.
Fair. I don't think he will. Only 2 players since the NHL lockout have gotten over 60 goals in a season. Stamkos got 60 once. Ovi got 65 once. The delicious debate is, how many goals will Leon Draisaitl score this season?
All right, so let's look at it right now. He's got 20 in 19 games. If you remember back to our season predictions episode, we were betting on whether or not he's going to clear 43. Well, that seems like an easy one at this point. But how many does he actually hit? Again, 20 in 19 games, a heater of all heaters. To me, 50, easy clear. But I'm going to try to be realistic here. I'm going to say 56. That's going to be my first guess. Leon Draisaitl finishes the year with 56 goals.
We writing these down?
Yeah, let's write these down. I'll take care of that.
Write them on the wall.
Nation Dan, you are to my left. How many goals does Leon Draisaitl finish the year for? Or with?
I'm going to say, just because of this season and the way that he, you kind of expect a guy to up and down, but he's still at 21 goals through 20 games. So I'm going to say 63.
Dan says 63. I'm 56. Dan's 63. Tyler, you're up next.
I was waiting for you to say like 90 just to like make me mad.
No, I can't. I can't go too high because I think my preseason prediction for Draisaitl was like 120
15,
or 115,
or
something like that. Yeah. So I was high, but I wasn't that high.
Yeah, I think my preseason prediction was like 45, which is obviously going to be way off base here, but I'm going to get close to Dan. I'm going to say he gets 61 this season.
So we've got 56 Bag Milk, 63 Dan, 61 Tyler. Next up, Zachary Lang.
I'm split in the middle between you guys. I'm going to take 62.
Oh, we got a little Price is Right here.
Price is Right. Absolutely.
Wrap it up, Rick.
Don't you dare, Rick.
OG Yakupov.
No.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go.
Oh,
I
he
was
just Price is
literally-
Riced it.
I was literally sitting here with 62 on the tongue, and y'all took it, so I'm going OG Yakupov.
Well, I had 63, so then I had to pivot. That's why I took 62, because I was like, you know what, screw you guys. I'm going to split the difference.
Here's part 2 of this debate.
Okay.
At what point do you start to believe 50 and 50 is a possibility?
Well, that's what I was going to say is like, what game do we say 50 goals is? That's the question.
Well, because I was thinking about that too, because every year generally it's Austin Matthews that goes off to a hot start and he's got 6 goals through 10 or something. And they say, oh, well, maybe he can get close to it. Well, now we're talking about a guy who's got 20 and 19. So do you have to wait till 30 games? I don't know.
I'd say 40 is when I'd start, 35 is when I'd start to go, okay, we got to be on 50 and 50 watch. Right now, I'm not there yet, but if he's at 35 goals at 35 games, that's when I'd be like, okay, he might do it.
Which, quite frankly, if he's at 35 goals in 35 games, I'm going to be howling laughing because that is absurd. Nobody does that.
I don't expect him to drop down below like a 3-goal behind kind of pace. Do you know what I mean? Like if you say he's at a goal a game pace right now or just a little bit more, I don't expect him to drop much more than that the whole time. I'm thinking that we're looking at 50 and 50 right now.
So then you think he's just going to cool off once he gets 50 and 50?
I don't think that. I think that it's going to come in spurts though.
Another 32 games afterwards, and you put up 13 goals.
Yeah, like I honestly I think that the push is there. It's not. You haven't seen the cool down yet, so
he's shooting 29%, which is like high. But when he had his 50-goal season, he shot 22 over the course of 82 games. Like it's not like he's going to drop off significantly when he does, which is why I think he eventually gets to that 60-goal mark this season. But yeah, I mean, I could very easily see him getting 50 and 60 games, and
that's crazy.
That's
thing, crazy. 50 and 60 is nuts. Well, especially in 2021.
The thing with like pure goal scorers, like a Ovechkin type, is a guy like Draisaitl shoots from the same spot all the time, and he's just daring goalies to beat him. And then what happened against the Coyotes when he's just waiting for the goalie to square up on him, and then he just dishes to someone else and they put it in the net, no problem.
Dude, it's like the Rangers, man. Goalie had all day to square up to when he put a 5-hole on him.
Yeah, I mean, he could help his own case by not passing when the goalie's out, right? Like he could have another one if he didn't pass to Puljujarvi.
He could have. Well, so he's got no hat tricks this year, which is funny considering how many multi-goal games he's had, even against the Coyotes the other night. You know Connor wanted to find him.
Do you see how pissed off he was?
Pissed.
Connor was angry they couldn't get the puck to him.
He's just like, why didn't I find him?
And then I think like Leon like gave up at the blue line. It's like whatever, just score the damn goal. I don't give a shit. Just score the goal.
Yeah, you're right.
And
he
Connor
could have
like
2 more.
Yeah, Connor like shrugged his like shoulders shrunk as he put the puck in the net.
And that's why you have to say that it's possible because he's got Connor McDavid looking for him on every opportunity.
Especially if they start getting there at 35 to 40.
Yep.
I guarantee you, Connor goes out there every game trying to get him at least one fucking
It's just
goal.
like last year when Connor was shooting for 100 points in the 56-game season. You know when he was getting 97, 98, 99, every puck was going to him. And I imagine it'll be the same thing with Leon.
And the thing is, too, is that, like, even if Draisaitl cools off for, like, 4 or 5 games and goes goalless, like, he can score 2 or 3 goals in a night, like, at will. Yeah. So the ability for him to
crazy.
Make up
That's
for
even
that
crazy to think him going 4 games without a goal right now.
Well, and also you have to think that at some point, Draisaitl's personality is also going to come into it, right? Because he starts to look for passes and he starts to look for teammates because he's not, I don't know, at least he doesn't appear
they want
to
to
be
win
like a
first.
cerebral assassin.
They want to win first. He won't worry about hooking everybody else up until they're up by 2 or 3.
The only thing, since Rick brought that up, the thing that I do think stands in the way of Leon getting to these lofty marks is the things that he keeps saying after games. I don't care about the individual stats. We want to win. I'm not here for that. Connor's not here for that, blah, blah, blah. And while I'm sure it's probably nice if he gets some of those marks, I honestly don't think that's the biggest thing on his mind right now.
They don't care. It's hilarious. Like, I listen to every post-game press conference, right? And I put it all out on Twitter. And they get asked about shit like this all the time. At least on a weekly basis, somebody asks them after a game, like, hey, what's it like to, like, do this or do this stupid stat? And they're just like, both of them are just like, they couldn't give a shit.
They care.
Really,
they care.
I
These things are so they will never ever tell anybody in front of a camera.
But even when Draisaitl scores, he acts like he doesn't give a shit right now.
No, it doesn't at all.
Like, he had the celebration on, like, I don't know which goal it was against Arizona, where he just literally stood there after, like,
like
just
shrugs his shoulders.
Like, yeah, whatever. Like, another day in the office.
This is what I do now.
Could you imagine being that confident in, like, a skill set that you have that you just shrug it off?
Imagine
like
what
that,
those
like
guys' conversation is, though. When they get away from everybody and they're in some weird little fortress or nobody can hear anything, and they just start sitting there talking.
Yeah,
they're sitting in his damn elevator, so nobody can hear them, and they're just like, we're pretty fucking good, aren't we?
I would love to. I would
100%.
love to be fly on the wall, like McDavid, Draisaitl having a nation beer in McDavid's hot tub, and just being like, do they have moments where they're like, "We're so fucking good, man"?
Come on, of course they do. Of course they do.
It's on our social media today. Wayne Gretzky was talking about having lunch or dinner with the big three, Nurse, Draisaitl, and Connor, and said that it just sounds like the 4 of him, Coffee,
Curry,
and Messier, Low and Mess are all just shooting the shit about how amazing it is and how easy it is. Like, it's, I don't know, we keep getting these moments where it's like, hey, everybody, pay attention. this is the dynasty. Like, this is the skill and this is the level that we're seeing and we can expect for a couple more years.
Just as Dan
these
brought
are the good old days.
They really are. You guys have, Zach wrote about it. Dan's been tweeting about it. They are just, and I mean, Tyler's been saying this for years now. Appreciate what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Because these two are freaks.
Man, like, just think of being a fan of any other team in the league and like
So
not getting to
frustrating.
watch this every night. Like, come on.
Or being upset when you do watch it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I hate
Well, it's a funny thing where you look at like the Flames right now. The Flames are on. I mean, OTL's like whatever, but they're first in the
seven
Pacific
shutouts.
Division right now. But they're still so much in their own heads about the Oilers because they know there's a good chance when they play them next, Connor and Leon are going to make them look foolish. And that's going to be that way every single time. So since Dan brought it up, Wayne Gretzky, here's the quote. We do have it up on socials. And he said, I went for lunch with Draisaitl, McDavid, and Nurse. It reminded me so much of me, Lowe, Messier, and Coffee having lunch together. I remember I left lunch and I said to my wife, you know what? This team is so much closer to winning than people understand because these guys are so close. And that's fun, man. When you get to do something with your boys, you get to do something with your buddies, and make a difference on the team, on the ice. How can you not get excited about it?
I have a hypothetical for the group.
Go ahead.
Which table would you rather be a fly on the wall of? Lowe, Messier, and the boys, or Leon, Connor, and the boys?
Well, what I would say is back in the day, they probably had more interesting lunches. The pre-social media area lunches and before the fitness coach lunches.
80s lunches.
80s lunches. Yeah, I imagine there was a 3-4 cocktail lunch. So that one would probably be more interesting just in my personal lifestyle. But of course, I'm an Oilers fan now. So Tyler asked the question on social media, getting back to our delicious debate here. So let's see. We got a couple of answers coming in. The Mad Hatter, he thinks 53 goals. Shroom Sauce saying 70. Why not?
Let's go after
RC
salami.
says, the funny thing is Leon doesn't even care. We just want a playoff run, which I tend to agree with. Harold also adds, as many as it needs to ensure the Oilers go deep into the playoffs. Very unselfishly not worried about himself, only the success of the team. So a lot of people around here are picking up on the things he's saying in the postgame as well. Grant Johnson from Cruise, he's just going $1. He's going $1. We're seeing the Price is Right rules that are going on. He's going with a low bid of $1. And then again, Chad makes a comment here. He goes, after the way you guys lowballed Connor McDavid last year, I don't trust any of you. And he's 100% right.
Good point.
Hey,
Don't know how we did.
Oh, that's Greg. Shout out to Greg. I miss you, Greg. Where have you been?
What the hell,
I was talking
Greg?
about you.
Dan's got
I
to
was
get the
5 points away.
Yeah, Dan's got to get the tire pump on that one.
Yeah, thank you.
Even
Thank
though
you,
I
Rick.
still think you picked that number just to be fucking funny or something.
Well, I always pick stuff to drive conversation, but I try to
No
keep
way
the
you can
conversation
do that.
going.
And obviously he does it.
Nico Koskinen told me I could.
If you got a take on how many goals Draisaitl's going to finish the year with, please hit us up, Owen Radio Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. We want to know. We want to hear from you. And I'll keep checking in as we record this podcast. It's Friday at 2:40.
Great name of the podcast, by the way, Bag Milk. I just saw it on your screen.
Yeah, Leon Draisaitl is a warlord. That's already what I'm calling this one.
I love it.
He is.
Okay.
Do you want to go up against him? No, you don't. You just don't.
Leon Draisaitl is the best German hockey player ever.
Ever.
Like, isn't that crazy?
He's only like a-
24.
He's
No
a
offense to you,
borderline
eat croup. But just
I'm
doesn't-
sure Marcel Gotch is a nice guy, but
Jochen Hesch.
Draisaitl was asked after a game a couple of nights ago about like the 50 and 50 thing, right? And one Edmonton media member who will remain nameless asked him, like, hey, what was it like growing up in Germany? Did you ever hear about the 50 and 50? Like that sort of a thing, right? And like Draisaitl just deadpan was like, I did not watch the NHL growing up. There was zero exposure to it. And you could just tell Draisaitl's like, what the hell kind of a question was that?
I love Leon Draisaitl's interviews. Of all the people on this team, he's the only one that's ever going to say anything interesting. If you ask Nuge that same question about Leon, he'll give you one of the many cliches that he's got in his pocket that he's had since he's played here for a decade.
Yeah, those
if you
guys
ask
are-
Connor the same question, he's going to pull out one of those things that he always
Rolodex of
says.
Media training.
And you ask Leon, he's just as likely to be
Give a
like,
shit.
what the fuck are you talking about?
Leon and Jesse.
He gives him that look.
Jesse's
No,
look.
yes, it's too nice.
Yeah.
Leon gives him that look, and then like a "you're an idiot" type of answer. They're
but
fantastic.
you ask any other player on the team, you get, Yeah, no, obviously what Connor and what Leon do is really special, and we're really lucky to have those two guys on our team. But, the emphasis on us is it's on winning hockey games, and we got to be good around them. And they're not always going to be able to do that, so we need to be better as a group if we want to keep getting wins. Keep giving 110%.
Get pucks in deep,
Close your eyes, and you don't know which Oiler that was.
Make smart plays with the puck, just support down low, the whole thing. Anyway, again, hit us up, ON Radio Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. I want to know your guesses for Leon Draisaitl. Okay? Good.
It's in the 60s.
We're going to see, right? Like, we're going to absolutely see. It's fantastic to think, because I wouldn't have guessed 20 and 19. Even the start is ridiculous. It's absurd.
I really hope he just scores 69 goals on the year.
Nice.
Do you remember
It'd just be incredible.
that power play when McDavid was at 99 points last year against Vancouver? And he just circled the zone trying to find Draisaitl because he was like, this is the best chance to get 100 right here. What will a power play look like with Draisaitl at like 59 goals? Or if there's
49.
49 goals in 49 games.
Yeah, like what's that 50th game like if Draisaitl's out there looking for 50 and 50? Like, is Connor McDavid passing to anyone else on the team?
It's 2 players and 3 pylons.
So here's what I also think that could happen, though, is if that situation happens on the power play, the opposition just loads up Leon's side, and then you've got a guy like Nuge on the other side that's got fucking time to make a sandwich.
And he's still trying to make the pass.
Yeah, exactly.
Still finds,
and Leon will still somehow score a goal.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of scoring, why don't you score yourself something to eat with our friends at DoorDash? Ding dong.
Ding dong.
Use the promo code OODLE2021 on your orders of $30 or more. You'll get $7 off. That's how we tie together DoorDash and our friends at Oodle Noodle with delicious debate. I want to stick with Leon Draisaitl a little bit because Trevor Zegras was on Spittin Chiclets this week, and he actually had a really funny story about Leon Draisaitl. I know Tyler has got the clip. What we don't know yet is whether or not his phone is speaking to the board. We'll see. Tyler.
Edmonton this year, and we started, and I never start anymore. It's usually Getsy's line who usually gets to start, and they circled McDavid's line. So a couple of the boys were, because they all knew the O'Reilly thing, so they asked me, they were like, dude, you got to do it with McDavid. And I was like, sure, like absolutely, like I'd love to do it with McDavid. And I get out there and Draisaitl's taking it. And I lean into him. I was like, dude, $100, like first draw. And he looks at me. He goes, can you even fucking afford $100, you rookie? I was like, dude. I was like, come on. I was like, I can't. That's why I need to win this draw.
So the thing I want to touch on with that is Leon Draisaitl, unquestionably elite in terms of skill, finish, passing, all that.
The end of that, though, is the best part, because then he's like, and yeah, he just stepped up and he like snapped it backwards before I can get my stick down. Like, he took it seriously. Yeah. I love that about him.
Fuck this kid.
The thing is, it's just like the trash talking from Leon Draisaitl is what I want to dig in on, because not only do I love that he chirps the bench, I love when he skates by the other bench after a goal and he's fucking looking at him and pointing at him and stuff. But do you remember a player in Edmonton where not only are they a trash talker, but they've got the skill to back it up? Yep. Like, he is writing the check and he's fucking cashing it at the same time.
Jason Arnott.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Jones had a couple 18-goal seasons.
Hell yeah. He had the hell of a flow, too. Ryan Jones?
It's hilarious. I mean, like, we can go back a couple of years, though, to that 50-goal season when, like you said, Draisaitl would score a goal and skate by the other team's bench on his flyby and always throw them a little something. And then the thing against the Rangers, like, that's what makes Draisaitl lovable. And I think there's an interesting bond almost between Oilers fans and Draisaitl, because, I mean, you have the whole fucking phenomenal thing, right? And that's one of them. And he's interesting in the media. He tells you what's on his mind. He's not as robotic as Connor is. And I think outside the Edmonton market, obviously McDavid gets all this love, right? And Draisaitl's almost the forgotten one, in the sense that a lot of people still, even now, still just sit there and go, well, he's doing it because he plays with McDavid. Yeah, I'd love to see him do it without McDavid. And I think that almost that combined with his personality makes him, in a weird way, like more loved, or loved in a different way than Connor by Oilers fans.
Well, I want to touch on then, since you brought it up, I want to touch on a mailbag question from last week. Does Leon Draisaitl does Tyler get enough love outside of Edmonton? First of all, no.
No.
Does Leon Draisaitl get enough love outside of Edmonton? No. I'm going to say no.
No.
Of course not.
I mean, the guy's a fucking Hart Trophy, and you never hear about it.
Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, no, it's kind of a weird thing, because I don't know if it's so much as like everybody else in the league is just like, oh yeah, he's really good and we know he's really good, or like what the case is. Like, it almost seems like willful ignorance on behalf of so many outside of this market to like really appreciate exactly what is going on there.
Didn't Pittsburgh push Sid and Gino as a duo, as a Sid and Gino type of thing, a lot more than what you're seeing out here?
Could you imagine a show following Connor and Leon around?
Not really, like outside of
Something like that. Like that would be hilarious.
I don't think.
I feel like they were always pushed as like a Sid and Gino. It's like
we call them
these
the
guys-
dynamic duo.
Yeah,
But I don't feel like that.
I feel like
these
it was
guys-
more
that these
Ovechkin
guys-
Crosby.
Well, no, but they were on the same team, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is
Like
that these guys were on the same team, and you really don't hear Leon's name. Though I'd have to say, I think Leon's projecting better than Gino did.
I think
But
that,
like that's
I think
American media though for you too, right? Because of course they're going to gravitate to the biggest stars that are south of the border.
well,
Like it's Edmonton. It's like a
But the dude is like
wasteland is how they view it down there.
It's almost
right?
not even an argument anymore. The dude is the second best player in the league.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
or the
so
world.
I mean, you look at it from outside of our city, right? Because of course we have a hyper focus, and so we're down to the bottom six kind of conversation. Whereas outside of this city, they just kind of scan around the league, and they're going to just look at the top story out of every thing.
Yeah, but you're going to expect ESPN and all these guys that are just coming into this to be a lot better at that. Especially seeing how someone like Spittin Chiclets, who these guys who are, I guess they are wherever you think they are in terms of like relevance and whatnot. All they do is talk about the Oilers. All they do is talk about Leon and Connor.
But
So I mean, even that way, they got to like. Well, they keep saying Leon. They keep saying Leon. We better figure out who they get this.
But
kid
it wasn't like Tampa Bay was talked about, and it was always Kucherov and Stamkos and Vasilevsky.
But they're
It was
not.
Kucherov.
They're not on the same level as Connor and Leon. Those two are never the two best
but
players
I think
in the world.
I think you made your own point there. Connor McDavid is just that much better that everybody wants to talk about him all the time. And it's not a slight against Leon Draisaitl. It's just that he gets the third byline.
I'll tell you this right now. Those two are a lot closer in talent and level of whatever than I assumed they were, say, this
course.
time last year.
Of course.
I think it's interesting too because you look at Leon Draisaitl now. Again, Dan said the title that I'm calling this one. Leon Draisaitl's a warlord. When he was drafted, I never saw this shit coming.
Thank you.
Do you remember what everybody said when he signed that contract?
Yeah, they still say
Like,
it's
do you
too
remember
much.
how much
it's too big a
people
contract.
ripped the Oilers for that
It
contract?
might be the best contract in the league
I
right
was
now.
just gonna say the only other contract that I think would even be
Nate McKinnon.
close is Nate McKinnon.
Yeah,
I guess
Even at that-
Pasta's down there too.
Yeah, but even
Pasta's
at
under
that,
5.
like none of them are scoring,
Yeah.
putting up points the
If
way
you-
Draisaitl.
Like if
is.
you were building a team
Right?
and you couldn't take McDavid right now, and you're taking contracts into consideration, who
Leon all day.
Leon all
Has to be
day,
Leon.
it's not even a question, right? He's
Yeah.
got the best value contract in the league based on what he puts out for how much he gets paid. He deserves to be making as much money as Connor does right
Yes.
now. Full stop. And Connor deserves to be making like $20 million a year.
So you guys are all
What if they're
saying,
listening? What if their agents are listening?
Yeah,
Sorry, I know
they're
you
definitely
didn't-
We're
listening.
I know you
screwed
didn't say
in 5 years.
but you guys are all saying that you would take Leon Draisaitl at his
said-
contract over Connor McDavid.
Oh,
he
sorry.
said-
I said take McDavid out of it.
Yeah,
Take
McDavid's
McDavid
off the list.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Like, are you taking Leon at 8.5 or fucking Mitch Marner at 11?
Well,
You know what I mean? It's
Mitch
not
Marner's
close.
very far down that
Well,
list.
I think
Yeah.
it's just Nate McKinnon is the comparable right now.
I think Pasta's up there.
yeah,
Pasta's up because
I'll
Pasta's
give
like
him-
Pasta
Well,
signed
yeah,
his
but-
7 for like less than 5, didn't he?
But that's
no, he's
I
like
guess
6
I guess when I play those exercises, I think of what they have left in their contract, right? Like where they're going forward.
Yeah, like if you factor that
Oh,
in,
yeah.
it's Draisaitl easily because
Yeah.
Nate Mack needs a new deal now.
Yep.
And what does
Pasternak
Draisaitl
is-
have left? He's got like
4 years.
4 years left.
4
Unreal.
more years.
But you
by
gotta
then,
think
like-
though when year 5 comes in is like,
But
I'm a
by that point,
baller,
well,
baby.
But
roll
the
us.
cap's going to be way up by then. He's going to have
In theory.
He's probably going to have 2 rings on his hand by then.
So-
It's going to be hard to leave.
When I put out the tweet during the game the other night where I said the fact that we have Connor McDavid means that we can have Leon Draisaitl forever, blah, 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 all the responses, or a few of the responses were just, he's gone in 4 years. And I don't think that's true.
That's
Neither
just
do I.
that's just the classic anti-Edmonton trope.
Yeah,
though.
it's of course.
it's like
But
we've heard it for
everybody had an
everybody
Oilers
else.
logo for their avatar.
But I
love
think
it. Let
that's
him keep
funny.
saying that.
The funny thing to me is everybody always talks about Connor wants out. Connor's going to want out. Nobody ever says that about Leon ever.
Yeah, because it's just a jealousy thing.
Of course.
Nobody says it because they actually think he's gonna leave.
Yeah. Between the two, though, I do think Leon would maybe be the one that does go, right? I could see that narrative creeping in by year 4.
If you think that,
almost
like-
more so if they were to win 1 or 2. It would be like Leon kind of wants to do his own thing.
But
It's
after,
like
what happens if they
Kobe
win?
and Shaq. You know what I mean? Can he do it without Shaq?
Yeah, but isn't that a situation where Wayne Gretzky comes in and says, "Listen, if I hadn't broken up the band, we would have had."
He didn't
another
break up the
He
band.
didn't, but yeah, he would say yes. He would
If
say
he had
yes
stopped.
if we didn't. I suggest you guys stick around. What if they win in year 4? It's a hell of a lot harder to leave after a victory than say if you lost.
So you heard it here first. Rick would like us to wait.
No, I didn't say it has to be their
Just-
first
I'm
one in
just
year
messing
4,
with
but
you.
they just win one in year 4. I said
yeah,
2.
It's true. It's tougher to walk away when you.
I don't. Actually, I regret even bringing this up now because we shouldn't be having this talk.
Everybody,
I don't know how we even got here.
send your hate mail to Tyler@Oilersnation.com if you're upset about this conversation.
Because
Again,
he's trying to avoid the conversation.
yes, avoid the grind, avoid the conversation.
I'm not
Tyler
even sure if
at-
I'm the one that led us down this path, but I just wanted to end it.
No, I was trying to say
How
that.
did we get here?
I was trying to say that Leon
That's not a lot
Draisaitl
of
isn't
times.
appreciated enough outside of Edmonton.
Yep.
How we got here, I don't know.
Because we're saying that he's appreciated by other teams and he's going to be tried to be taken from us.
So we're going to change gears.
You traded him. What could you get?
There we go.
you have to
We
ask.
did it.
No, Tyler.
Starts
Again,
with 2 first.
Tyler@Oilersnation.com. I want to look back on the week because the Oilers got more bad news on their back end. Duncan Keith went down. So in a matter of a week plus, let's say.
We know nothing right now, right?
Lower
You guys
I
have
mean,
your- you guys
I
have-
saw
you
the
guys
clip.
have your
day to
ears
day.
to the. You
My-
guys have your ears to the ground in town here. What do you guys know?
Well, they've said it's day-to-day upper body.
Yeah.
What I know
Keith's
is that I
doing his
saw
own research on the injury.
Mike Smith was day to day too.
What I saw was the clip Zach put out of Duncan Keith getting hurt, and that is an old man injury if I've ever fucking seen one. That is him whipping a puck across the ice and hurting his back or something somehow. As somebody who hurt his back, threw it out, getting out of the shower, I get it. That's your late 30s, baby. But at this point, man, no. Bad. And even worse, he's pretending he didn't even know about the injury.
Yeah, but have you used infrared technology on that thing?
Anyway, bad news on the left side.
Yeah.
Nurse out, Keith out, Cuckoo out. Last game against the Coyotes, based on usage and minutes, we had a Russell Berry first pairing.
Hell yeah.
Not ideal. Tyler, what's happening with our defense? Like, this can't go on long.
Well, yeah, because guys eventually got to get back in the lineup here. The good news is, Darnell Nurse doesn't have like a torn ACL, right? Like he's coming back.
He's got a broken fingy.
Yeah, he's coming back before Christmas, I think is the general understanding here, right?
Yeah.
So it's not long term. That is good. They're still winning games and banking points. That's good. They're going to survive. And the point I made today during a radio hit was maybe in a weird way,
Who are you doing radio for?
just here in the city.
Did you do low tide?
No, I do low tide on Tuesdays.
Oh, nice.
He always starts by going, I don't know, how are those big feet doing? And it's like, God damn it, low tide. Anyways, the weird way that this could be a blessing in disguise is, I mean, Roberg wouldn't have gotten a shot this year if there weren't injuries. To Nurse specifically. Because I think if it was Nurse still here, they wouldn't have brought up
Well, we
Roberg.
talked about it on the B-cast
Yeah.
after the game when actually Cuckoo went down. So
Yeah.
I asked you on the B-cast, do you think Roberg's getting the pull? And you said no, probably William Lagesson, who as it turns out he's up anyway.
Yeah.
Because it was probably a better fit. But now Nurse is down. So let's just talk about Broberg here for a sec. Tyler, I'm going to start with you. 3 games in, quiet, and I say that as probably a compliment. Quiet through 3 games.
Quiet. I mean, he made the bad read against Arizona on the 2-on-1, but that's something that, I mean, with a player as skilled and you'd assume as intelligent as Roberg, like that's an easy fix, right? Don't get over aggressive.
Yep.
Other than that, though, he's been good. You haven't noticed him, like you said. That's a compliment. There's been a few times where he has jumped up into the play and down low in the offensive zone, and I feel like he moves pretty well.
Skates real well.
There's a lot to like about Philip Roberg. I think when he was on the ice against the Coyotes, the Oilers outshot them like 12-6 or something like that. Like, that's good. That shows me that you're not spending a lot of time in your own zone. You're moving the puck in a positive direction, and you're helping your team get scoring chances. So, again, when everyone's healthy, and I don't want to jump the gun here, because I said this last year with Bouchard after a few games. I said last year Bouchard shouldn't come out of the lineup. He ended up coming out of the lineup for pretty much the rest of the season. But with Broberg, like, I would play him over Cuckoo or Russell. There's upside there, and you got to like that upside.
100%.
Especially when he's hidden behind Keith and Nurse.
Yeah, like that's when that pairing could get really interesting, is when he's hidden a little bit.
Zach, what are your first impressions for Philip Roberg?
It's actually kind of calming, to be honest with you, because I think there was a lot made about the selection of Philip Roberg in the first place. Obviously, there was guys like Trevor Zegras and some other highly skilled offensive players that were taken shortly behind Roberg. So, obviously you're seeing what Zegras is doing down in Anaheim this year, and he looks like a great electric player. So to see Roberg kind of step in as a rookie in his first 3 or 4 games and look very good has been great to see. It's exactly what this team needs. I think it's going to be hard to take him out of the lineup, even when everybody else comes back healthy. I mean, look, let's try not to overreact too much to 3 NHL games, but it's like the same argument I think can be made about Stuart Skinner. Like how do the Oilers send him back down to the American League, and how do they justify that after seeing him come in and produce? And obviously Roberg is going to get a lot more time and a lot more chances, and things could just as easily fall off in his game as a rookie, and those struggles could be more apparent. But he plays a quiet, calm game, and that's exactly what you want from any defenseman, let alone somebody who's playing in his 4th NHL game, right? So I think there's a lot to like about Roberg here so far.
Looking at his minutes so far, game 1 against Chicago, 14.5. Game 2 against Dallas, 19. Game 3 against Arizona, 21, 29. So he's already increasing in minutes. Rick, what are you seeing from Philip Roberg?
Exactly what you guys are talking about. Just a calm defenseman who seems to be ready for the next steps in the NHL. It's the progression of his career, and I do think that if we get Keith back, before Cuckoo, he's going to outplay Russell. We're going to get to see that opportunity of seeing those 3 guys run the left side, and I do think that it'll be really tough to send him back. I think it's a little bit easier to send Skinner back just because you have 2 goalies and whatever there. But I do see Broberg kind of keeps playing like this, man. He's going to finish the season here. I'm enjoying watching everybody on Twitter who was bashing Broberg because Caulfield started off so hot.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, our draft pick, Broberg, was terrible.
Of course.
And then they read something by some Swedish guy last year who said Broberg got benched or something like that, got replaced by somebody else in the playoffs last year. And now look what we have here. We have a guy who's exactly where we want him to be. He actually might be ahead of schedule even.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably a little bit ahead of schedule, probably from where he was in the plans, especially with a guy like Ken Holland as the general manager. But that said,
he's proving ready.
If he can come in and say, push Cuckoo out of the lineup, and he gives you, 15 solid minutes on your 3rd pairing towards the end of the season, I think that's a win, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely it is.
Well, here's the question then, because we were talking a couple of weeks ago, and Tyler, I think that was you. The question was, if we make a move at the deadline, what do you go after? And your answer was, 2
LD.
2 LD or 2 RD, whatever. You prefer to move Duncan Keith back a bit.
Yeah.
If you keep seeing the same thing out of Broberg we're seeing right now, does that change your opinion in that trade?
I mean, the Skinner Broberg thing certainly starts to get me thinking.
We're going to talk about Skinner right after.
Yeah, I'd want to see, and the trade deadline's a long ways away, so you have the luxury. But, if Broberg keeps this level of play up for 2 months, then I think you kind of sit there and you go, okay, maybe our LD.
Ricard Raquel?
Look at that smile.
You start to go, our LD looks pretty good. If Skinner keeps doing what he's doing, you go, okay, Smith, Skinner, we don't hate that. And then you go, okay, how do we make this team better? And all of a sudden, it's not defense, it's not goaltending. It's an impact right winger.
Wow.
I think that
there's one in Anaheim, by the way, that might be on the trade block.
Never heard of him.
I think that having Broberg come in this early, draft +3, by the way, and play some really quiet minutes for this team on defense would be a big win. Kez, he is a big guy. He can skate. He's got a little bit of offensive instincts. And not to mention, we haven't mentioned it once, the All-Abs team has got a champion in Broberg. We lost Clefbaum. That's heartbreaking. We lost Larson. Devastating. The All-Abs team needed a champion, and Broberg could be that guy. Dan, I'm going to end off the Broberg chat just with your first impression.
Yeah, for me, it's been, and it's the same conversation with Skinner that we'll have here in a minute. It's been composure, and it's been the fact that he just, these kids look comfortable in their spot. Whereas in the past, with this team, when you see a rookie slotted into that lineup, and we saw a lot of it on Twitter the other night too, when they see the defensive pairings put together, people are a little bit hesitant. But when you see Broberg out on the ice, he doesn't look out of place. He looks comfortable. He looks like he's ready for that spot.
The last thing I'll say about Broberg, though, is you look at the teams he's played against, Chicago, Dallas, Arizona. Chicago and Arizona are fucking terrible. So I'm going to be very interested to see how he performs tomorrow against Las Vegas.
Think he gets to start?
Broberg?
Oh, sorry. I thought we were still talking Skinner. I was making
This
graphics.
guy.
I'm out.
This guy is not paying attention. He's producing the pod. What are you looking at over there, by the way, on your laptop?
Just getting clips ready for the show. Promote
All
the
right.
pod.
The next time he
podcast
stops
ever, or
talking,
what?
he's gonna hit the cold button. Oh, sorry guys, we're on the cold. Oh, my bad.
We have been hoodwinked.
Sorry.
I got to tell you guys about my friends at Cornerstone Insurance. For 90 years and 4 generations, Cornerstone Insurance has been a family and employee-owned business here at Edmonton with all of the insurance products you could ever hope for. Anything you need, Zach. Anything you need. Auto, residential, commercial, life insurance, they've got you covered. And if you click on the Citizens of the Nation button on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll get yourself a discount.
I'm going to insure my air fryer.
You should.
Great move.
It's a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle. Welcome to the family, by the way.
Thank you. I love it. It's tremendous. I've literally air fried pretty much every meal I've eaten in the last couple of weeks.
Kind of have to. That's where I'm at. I had a delicious air fryer breakfast this morning.
Pizza
Go on.
pops.
Tell me more.
Pizza pops. Do you go thawed or do you go right from frozen?
I'll go right from frozen.
Right from frozen.
People
Why are you
have-
thawing it?
People thaw their pizza pops.
Well, sometimes you just leave them in the fridge, right?
Yeah.
If you're
What?
thinking ahead.
Really?
You could.
I've done that before.
That's
It was
fair.
by
I
accident.
mean, if you're going to eat them quick, I guess.
Because I'll tell you this, in the oven's pretty good. The only bad,
Oh, yeah.
it just takes forever.
It's the weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it really depends on where you're at in your life and your day.
I
Can
tend
you
to
do-
I tend to think ahead of these things too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Can you do the 20-minute wait for a pizza pop in the oven or the air fryer? All of a sudden, you got good living there.
See, I got the bigger air fryer. Like, I don't have the basket one. So it's also got like.
Yeah, you got the
It's like a little mini oven.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I
whatever-
can
forget what
bake
those are
things.
called
I
right
can
now.
dehydrate things. It's awesome. Like, it's tremendous. So I've been doing all my cooking in there. You can even do toast in there.
The only
Air-fried
downfall,
toast,
the only
unreal.
downfall though, is because Bag Milk was telling us is you gotta air fry your leftover oodle noodle.
You got to.
can't because you've got the grates in there.
Well,
Oh,
you
no,
just
we
have to
can-
get an
Toaster
oven.
oven.
You got an
an
insert.
oven safe dish, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oven safe dish. Throw that bad boy in there. Flip her on.
I will send you, Zach, my breakfast that I do in the air fryer every day. It's a game changer. I just pop it in there, go do something for 9 minutes, maybe a quick shower, come out, I got breakfast ready. It's delicious.
9 minutes is a quick shower.
Well, like I get in the shower, dry off. Like,
Fair enough.
I don't know. What kind of
Are you
military showers are you having over
shower
there?
shaming Bag Milk?
I move quick.
Is
I could see-
you're-
I
is
take
this-
long
Is this
showers.
because you're like was your dad big on this?
No,
Like
actually,
fucking 5-minute showers, 5 minutes. Get
I
in
am
and get out. Get in,
I
get
am-
out.
I am a 3-minute shower guy because I was rushed. Yeah.
Yeah, as a kid, right? Yeah.
What's the process? Like, walk me through it.
You get in.
Yeah.
You wet your hair, and you lather up, and then
Hose
get out.
yourself down.
So you're
Yeah. It's all
pretty
business.
much
Yeah.
the Jay Downton $3 car
Yeah.
wash.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
got my shampoo ready to go. I got 2 pumps
Yep.
of shampoo and 2 pumps of body wash.
See, I got
see.
these luscious locks, so it can take a while, right?
That's
Like I
fair.
have to let my shampoo sit a little bit. I have to color condition my hair. I got to make sure it's nice and dry when I get out of the shower. It's a fucking process sometimes.
Okay, but see, these are the questions we should be asking in the Oilers press conferences after the game. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
I want to know shower
but see, I
process.
I want to know their shower processes.
it's important stuff. You really have to ask the question.
'Cause I too
not
have-
not a lot of them have long hair either. So
No.
you can imagine that
No.
a lot of them are on that shorter
In and out.
3 minutes.
See, I don't have I have luscious locks, not as long as Zach's, but I'm just, you know what? I just like to enjoy myself in there.
Sometimes I
kinda
will.
nice.
Sometimes I'll go in and like, especially if it's like let's say it's like a Friday or Saturday night, you're going out. I like to grab a beer. I bring my
was
phone
just
in
gonna
there with
say.
me. I sit on
Yeah.
TikTok for like 10 minutes and I just sit there with the water
I've
going
got a
over my
question
body.
about, do you like, you just
How
going
can
in
you do
there
that?
raw? You got it in a bag? What do you got?
Hey,
Like,
just bring your phone in.
They're all
waterproof
waterproof
now.
nowadays.
all right, good for you.
See, this is I saw something funny enough about this. Like the older people here are probably in the group that are still like, holy shit, we have to take care of our phones and make sure it never touches
Yeah.
water or anything like that.
Oh,
Man,
our baby
and then
this
nowadays the
Buddy.
phones are like fucking like
Oh, they can handle that
waterproof to
shit.
30
Yeah,
feet
no
deep
problem.
or something.
All you have to do is drop your phone in water one time and have to leave it sitting in rice over
Yeah.
the weekend to like, that'll just really rattle you.
I'm pretty sure I actually have an old iPod that's been sitting in rice for like 10 years now.
You just keep
Probably
skipping right
better.
off the top. You forgot
Probably
it's near
ready.
the bottom.
I think I threw it in there, forgot about it, got a new one for Christmas or some shit, and
Wow.
The
should see
Nokia,
that.
it's a
I remember
Nokia
that.
flip phone.
But like to Tyler's point, tomorrow, Nation viewing party, which I want to check in on in a little bit.
your romper chuck.
Your romper chuck's coming out, but I guarantee that is a 2-beer shower for me tomorrow.
Yeah, I see, and I like when it's in the morning and it's like, all right, I got work to do. It's just like, let's get in, let's get out, let's move on with our day. But when I like have time and I'm not rushed, yeah, bring a beer in there, bring your phone.
Hold on. Are there any bath boys in the room like Connor McDavid?
Love a good bath.
Good question. I love a good bath too.
I wish my
out.
tub was bigger.
I'm out, and the only reason is you can't get the whole goddamn body in the tub.
Well, that is true.
That's
Yeah.
the
tough.
only reason.
It's tough.
Yeah,
But I mean, like, there's no way Tyler can get. Otherwise, if you're sitting there like your legs stretched out, then the water's up to like your ribs
Yeah.
or something. That's cold.
Yeah.
That's not comfortable.
I love a good
deep,
hot tub.
Get me a deep one that I can
So
fucking fit in.
what we're
and
saying is,
man.
for our generations, we need to create a new type of bathtub.
I just need a deep tub.
Like one of the chambers McDavid has,
Yes.
where you just like insert your whole body and just your head sits out of it.
I dig it.
I also need to have bubbles like in my house, which
fair.
I don't regularly have because I'm not interested in sitting there watching my nuts float around. So if I'm getting in the tub,
Save that, please.
I need to make sure that it is a whole scene.
What we need to invest in is one of those like really old person tubs that
With a
have
door?
like the swinging door
Yeah,
that
yeah,
are
yeah.
like super deep, because then you don't have to step up over to get into
100%.
the tub.
Feeling,
But then you have to let that thing drain
gonna
before
say,
you get out.
that's
Yeah.
true.
And
It's
that's
such a
weird
process.
and gross because that's going to bring out the whole Kramer issue.
You have to wait for it to load up too. You're sitting there.
No, you can get it. No, you can get. Yeah, you get it in there. And it, like,
And we
fills
gotta
up.
work-
you could just go line change mode and just go like leg over and
And we got to worry about just like we're all adults. We all have to pay our utility bills. Like if we're talking about a big deep tub, that's a lot of water in there.
Condo. No worry about water bills over here.
yeah, me too. Yeah.
I turn the shower on, just let it run for a couple hours, just keep the place warm. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
sometimes I'll just give her for like 2 days, just let the water
Yeah,
go.
why not?
So when it got
Yeah.
really when it
clean
got
out the
really
pipes.
cold, when it got really cold here in Edmonton and it got super dry instantly.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely let my shower run with the door open on like
Yeah, try and get
super
some
hot for
humidity
a
in there,
day, yeah.
baby.
Oh
It
man,
was terrible.
Smart.
I got my fucking humidifier running at Jakarta levels right now because it is just insane dry in my house. Unbelievable.
I've been sitting here scratching my back the whole podcast because I'm so itchy. My whole skin's
You
dry.
need to get one of
You
those
need to get some
moisturizers.
lotion, buddy.
Yeah, I
This
do.
is an
cat
interesting
scratch pads.
podcast.
Yeah, we took a turn here.
And he's
Tyler's
actually
willingly
he's
a part of it.
offering it. Yeah, he's offering into this too.
Yeah, you guys gave me a beer. You took the edge off. We could talk about fucking anything. I don't care.
Just since we're talking about it, I'm going to ask you guys that are listening. I want to know about your shower routine. What is you doing in there? Are you bringing a beer in there? Are you bringing a White Claw in there? Are you just
beverage
going
of
in
some
like
sort.
Dan and you're all business and you're in and out in 3 minutes?
Dan
Or-
showers in a suit.
You
That's
just
how
hear your
business
dad
is.
yelling at you in your head in the whole time.
Absolutely, I do.
Or are you like me and you just, hey man, if I'm in there 20 minutes, I'm in there 20 minutes.
Damn straight.
We'll see what happens. I will empty that fucking water tank. Don't you think I won't? All right.
How much is your water bill? Like this is. I don't remember last time I had a water
problem I
bill.
have with water bills is the water itself isn't the problem. The fucking distribution fee is where they get you. I know we've got a campaign with Epcor coming up. Maybe I'll ask him about that distribution fee before we get going on it. Anyway, I digress. We're going to move on. But again, I want to know about your shower routine. I want to know what you're using. Are you a loofah person? Are you a rag person? I personally have a loofah.
There's no rag people anymore, isn't that? I thought that stopped in the 80s.
Yeah, people don't do that, right?
Like a bar of soap under the washcloth.
I don't use a rag, but there might be somebody listening to this that's still.
I want to know.
My Lord.
Rick, you have to understand as a person that downloads full albums off of iTunes
That is
still,
true.
That's a great
that
point.
some
Yeah.
people like to live in their own little niches, right?
I'm a
just
loofah guy.
Don't know any better, but the loofah thing, you saw. I mean, it was on a. There's a movie. It's a baseball movie. Kevin Costner is in. He cuts his finger off almost.
Moneyball.
Nope, not Moneyball. Way before Moneyball. And Kevin Costner's in it, by the way.
Field of Dreams?
No, before that. I can't remember what it is.
Bull Durham?
Might be Bull Durham, but I can't remember. He's a pitcher. He cuts his finger.
Yeah, Bull Durham.
And then anyways, that's where I heard about loofahs. I think.
To me, I'm a loofah guy. I like to lather. And I'll volunteer this, dear.
Exfoliates though.
100%. I like to exfoliate. I make sure my skin's soft. I will also volunteer this, Tyler. I use in the shower women's body wash. First of all, I like the smell.
Smartest thing you've ever done.
I like the smell. 2, makes my skin feel nice.
Do you not use the conditioner too?
Of course, I use the conditioner.
Yeah.
What are we
The
talking
ladies
about?
version. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
That's fair.
They know what they're doing.
I got a shampoo, and the smell is menthol and caffeine.
Yeah, I know those
It's
ones. Yeah,
It's just like
what the hell do
cigarettes
you
and
need?
coffee over at your house?
More or less.
It's like,
Smells like man.
You're like, why do I need caffeine in this?
It makes no sense.
No.
But anyways, I got it. It was on sale.
Wait,
And,
you guys don't pour your coffees on your forehead? What?
bring 2 coffees into the shower. One to drink, one to pour on top of my head as shampoo.
I had
absorb
a
caffeine.
I had a coffee and Bailey's in my shower the other day.
I went and got the Costco-sized jug of Bailey's yesterday on my day off because I was like, you know what? It's about that time now. You wake up in the morning,
Of course.
Bailey's.
Of course.
Should probably have one in here, by the way.
100%.
Bailey's dispenser.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the liquor dispensers in Mexico hotels.
We need those.
If
We've gone
Tyler's
off
not going to
track.
do it, I'm going to do it. We gotta
Dan's
get back
gotten off track. All right. Dan, you've gotten us off track here.
Yes.
Let's get back to it. Tomorrow, Edmonton Oilers playing against the Vegas Golden Knights. Early in the season, Vegas, slow start to the year. Over the last month or so, they've really turned things around. 7-3 in their last 10. This is now a team that they're sitting in third place as of today, Friday, in the Pacific Division. What are you expecting from the Vegas Golden Knights? I don't think this is going to be the same game as round one when Oilers won the first matchup of the season. Oilers banged up. Vegas playing well. Tyler, what are you expecting from this one?
Vegas is getting healthy as well. So, I mean, last time these two teams met, it was the opposite, right? It was Vegas was banged up. They had a bunch of key guys out of the lineup, and Edmonton was fully healthy. And now this is a team that has Pacioretty and Stone back in the lineup. Their blue line, everyone's still there. They're missing Alec Martinez, but aside from that, Pietrangelo, Theodore, Whitecloud, all the other big pieces are there. Robin Lehner's playing fine. This is a really good hockey team, and they're starting to string together some wins, and I expect them to be, making a push for that top spot in the division by the end of the season. I'm just looking here; they're 7-3 in their last 10. So, Vegas is playing really well, but I think if you're the Oilers, you just need to focus on, again, like it will be for every game this year. If you bring your A game, you'll beat most teams, and maybe tomorrow that won't be enough because Vegas is a good team as well. But if I'm Edmonton, it's just bring your A game, and you'll have a chance to win. And hell, if you win this one and you take the first two games of the year from Vegas, both of which in Vegas, that's huge. And that does a lot for the division race.
Is it tomorrow?
I would guess so.
I would assume
think
so.
so.
Because I'm
Vegas-
hoping
There's a back-to-back. We tend to get the
Vegas hasn't
the
played since Wednesday.
Ooh, it smells like a back-to-back then.
So they play Wednesday, tomorrow, then Wednesday. So they've got some space there.
get Leonard tomorrow.
Another thing that I would say is going to be hugely important for the Oilers tomorrow is getting some of the guys off the schneid. My boy Nuge, he's only got one goal in the season. Yes, he's getting assists, but we need him to score. Warren Fogle, he's getting all kinds of chances. We need him to score. Puljujarvi is in a little bit of a drought right now. Need him to get going. So I think having some secondary scoring beyond what they're already getting from Connor and Leon. Cassian got a big goal against Arizona the other night. That all helps, but we need to get some more depth scoring. Our depth is there. We're getting chances. Like I'm thinking about the game against Arizona. The second line of Hyman, Nuge, Yamamoto, Zach Hyman probably had 8 shots on net in that night. They just couldn't score. They couldn't get anything actually to go in the net, but they were getting chances. So I'm hopeful that something will happen. I'm hopeful they'll get off the schneid, but I think that's going to be hugely important. Zach, what are you looking at for tomorrow's game against Vegas?
Yeah, I think that depth scoring thing is going to be kind of huge for them, right? Like it's going to be important for them to get out to a strong start and an early lead. And I think, I really like the new third line of Warren Fogle, Ryan McLeod, and Puljujarvi there. I think that's a great trio. Last game against Arizona with McLeod on the ice at 5-on-5, the Oilers only allowed a 1 shot attempt against, which is like hilariously good for any team against any opponent. So it's going to be a real test, though, I think, too. Like you look at the back end, we talked about it earlier on the pod here, but it's going to be a big test for these guys to see what they're really made out of without our 2-3 top left shot defensemen. So, and then the question is who goes in net? Do you go with Stuart Skinner or do you go with Mikko Koskinen?
I'd go Skinner as well.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Dan?
Ask Mikko Koskinen.
Thank you.
I just think that this game to me is like this is the wake up and figure out your shit in the first period kind of
I agree.
game.
Yes.
I agree with you.
If you go down a couple goals to the Vegas Golden Knights with Robin Lehner in the net, good night.
And just to, before you continue, Dan, the Oilers have allowed the first goal in 9 of their last 10. That is a trend that cannot continue.
How many of those 10 have they won?
Well, no, I understand.
I get it.
The schedule makers did them some favors.
I'm totally with you on that they're winning those games, so it doesn't really matter in the end. But if you go down, like Dan said, or even just against
the Dallas
against
Stars.
Dallas the other day, they dropped 2 early in the first period, and all of a sudden you're fucked. So I agree with Dan. They have to sort out the quick starts thing.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Yeah, you give up a goal to Arizona. Like, I get it. Arizona's team you can come back on. But really, you can't even get off to a good start playing the Arizona Coyotes.
They're just doing that for the betters.
I truly believe that if by the first period we're tied, we win that game tomorrow.
But I think
Even
Dan's right.
Even if we're down by a bit, obviously we know what we can do. But Dan is right. Like, we got to take care of our
Dan's
own
100% right.
That's the issue tomorrow.
Keep saying it. I love it.
Is watching our own end, whether it be the defenseman, the goaltender, or the bottom six forwards. We just can't allow them. We can't allow Vegas to start running around in our end.
We keep saying this shot against Mikko Koskinen too about letting in the first goal. Why is the first goal always a breakaway? Why is the first shot a breakaway?
And that's a good point too.
question.
Like Mikko made a couple of great saves when that game was 1-0 as well. Like that could have been way worse off the bat.
And don't forget, in his last season here, I think Cam let in a bunch of first shots too.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
Talbot let it. It's weird. It's not the goal.
Goalies.
It makes no sense.
None. Zero.
But it's the team, and it's the team allowing that stuff to.
But that's just it too. Is that if you go back
up.
long enough, you can replace all the management, you can replace all the coaches, and you replace all the players, and they still have the same damn issue.
Yes.
It
It's a
makes no
problem.
sense.
None.
Again, 9 of their last 10, they've given up the first goal. That is a trend that cannot
It's like our
continue.
jerseys are too warm or something. Get them like all cozy, and they don't want to get
The
moving.
training stuff hasn't changed. Maybe we got to start throwing. I'm just kidding.
Ice the jerseys.
The Castans, the cotton uniforms.
So I've got 2 questions around the horn. We're going to go real fast. 1, I'm going to ask who goes in net for you. 2, I want to score prediction, so I'm going clockwise. Dan?
I'm just on brand if I say Mikko Koskinen.
But I also don't think I wouldn't be surprised if it is Mikko.
And I see a 5-3. Fuck. I don't want to say it, but it's a loss.
Tyler, what do you got?
I think it's going to be a loss too. I hope it's not because our party will be lit if they find a way to win tomorrow.
That's an element that we forget.
Yeah.
Often. Our parties aren't very good
The
records.
good parties usually you're feeling pretty good by about puck drop at the first period.
Yeah.
So
My plan is to be 2 a.m. drunk by the time the game starts. Anyway.
I think the Oilers lose 4-3 in OT. No, fuck it. They win 4-3 in OT.
And who are you starting?
Stuart.
Zachary.
Skinner 4-2 win in regulation.
Rick?
Can't win 4-2 in OT, so good point.
he's sitting on that one for a while. I'm gonna go with Stewie, and we're gonna go with 5-2.
I would also start Skinner, though I really won't be surprised if it's Mikko tomorrow. And I'm going to say 4-2 win because I'm on brand.
All right.
Copycat.
Looking ahead, Ask the Idiots time. Man, this podcast is going to be long.
going long.
Holy shit, yeah.
This
Ask
is like
the
the
Idiots.
first quarter of the Cowboys game yesterday.
Man, that game was 2 days long.
It's still
Holy
going
shit.
on.
It's
still going
still
on.
happening. Ask the Idiots for Buster's Pizza. 11 locations in and around Edmonton. Get a pizza, get a donair, whatever you want. There's a location near you. I promise you. And these questions that I'm going to throw at the boys, they haven't seen them yet. They haven't heard them yet. I'm just going to get their takes on them. You submitted all of these, and this is to enter to win a gift card from our friends at Buster's Pizza, as he does every week. To my left, my happy helper, Dan, is here. He's got everything in the mix. We're going to run through the questions first, and then Dan is going to do the draw after. We are going to start with Dan to my left. The first question coming in. It's a small sample size on the small sample size on Skinner has me conflicted on who's in net versus Vegas. Who you boys going with? We already know the answer to that, but why?
I think that this team and until I'm proven wrong, is going to keep going back to veterans. I think Tippett loves his old guys and loves his guys that he can trust and loves the guys he knows. And so it's not a shot against Stuart Skinner for me. It's just I keep going to the fact that I think that Tippett's going with Koskinen.
And I'm going to build off that. It is about trust a little bit for me. And I mean, Koskinen has given them a chance to win on most nights this year, but I trust Stuart Skinner to make the easy saves more than I trust Mikko Koskinen, so that's why I stick with him.
Zach, why are you going with Skinner?
Actually, I'm going to start Kyle Turris in net. Going to go change positions.
Yeah.
He struggled with the Oilers since he joined the team. I think if there's anybody who can strap on the goalie pads and put in a good performance, it's Kyle Turris.
I respect that a person comes on the pod and they just decide to be the contrarian. That's good. I love it. Kyle
Shit
Turris.
posting on podcast. Rick, why are you starting Skinner tomorrow?
I think you need to know a little bit of what you have in him. I think it's going to help you down the road with how you view your goaltending situation. I think you have a couple extra wins right now, so you can play with that a little bit. I think you're confident in the goaltender. I don't think you're any more confident in Koskinen than you are Skinner. So I just see there's a couple more benefits to allowing Skinner to play a game like this than putting Koskinen in there.
I agree with Rick. I think that you play Skinner because he's probably part of the future of your organization. You got to see what you have in him.
If Skinner turns out to be a number one,
Solves a lot of problems.
a lot, and costs you nothing.
Just imagine the story of a hometown kid becoming your starter. Gotta love it.
That
Question number
mustache.
2. We're reversing the order. I'm starting with Rick on this one. As we near the end of November, what would be the 3 most overrated and underrated teams for you? Most overrated and underrated teams. As everybody is pulling out the standings, everybody is working through it.
Hartford Whalers.
Okay, so so right off the top, and I don't think anybody is surprised that I say this.
Actually,
but I
let's
think,
not say 3. Let's just do 1 just to speed this up.
Oh, okay, good.
Good
Because
idea.
overrated. I'm still going to go with the Carolina Hurricanes. I think they get their tires pumped a lot. I know they're a good team, but I think it's overdone. And 06. So there you go. And what was the other one? Underwhelming?
Underrated.
Well, they were getting no love coming in, and especially from me. And I know they've got it with a lot of OTs and stuff. But I think when I say underrated, I think who I'm most surprised at, I'm going to say Calgary right now. Especially with 7 shutouts. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I'm looking at Calgary's goal differential. They're at a
hate
plus
it, by the
30
way.
goal differential right now. Here's the thing that I'm curious about with Calgary. When Jacob Markstrom starts to look human again, what is that team actually going to do? Because their goal differential is crazy. Zach, most overrated and most underrated team for you in the NHL right now?
So I'm going to use my good friend PDO for this one for a little bit of help. The Calgary Flames, who have been on an absolute heater, are the most overrated team in the NHL.
What's their PDO right now?
103.5.
billion.
Yeah, that's very high.
Huge. I just think that they're not shooting well enough. They're not scoring enough. Obviously, you can play as much defense as you want, but at the end of the day, you got to have goal scoring, and Markstrom's going to regress to the mean at some point here in the season. For my underrated team, I'm actually going to go with the Seattle Kraken. They are a team that has had absolutely horrible goaltending this year, and their defensive numbers are actually really, really solid. I did a bit of a deep dive into them for Daily Faceoff last week, so I think they're a team that's going to be on the up and up here. Are they going to be a playoff team? I'm not sure, but I expect them to be a lot more competitive down the stretch.
Tyler, overrated, underrated?
Most overrated. I want to go somewhere other than Calgary, but I mean, come on, 5 overtime losses. I think Calgary is being a little bit overrated, and it'll be interesting when Markstrom does come back down to earth a little bit here. In terms of being underrated, the Leafs get enough love, but I feel like people shit on them too much.
It's more because of the media than
I know.
themselves.
No, you know what? This is it. I'm gonna say the Leafs. I think a lot of people shit on them because of their slow start. A lot of people are sitting there like, "Oh, see what they do in the playoffs. And they're just ignoring the fact that this is actually a really good team right now. They're on a roll. Basically, since that slow kind of 5 games to start the year, they've been rolling. So I'm gonna say the Leafs might actually be the best team in their division, and not enough people are talking about that.
Dan, underrated, overrated?
I think this one's going to piss off Tyler, but my overrated is going to be the Washington Capitals. I just think that team is on a bubble. I don't know.
There's no way
I have no
way
idea.
that number 8 keeps scoring at the rate he's going.
Well,
It doesn't piss me off. I think the Capitals are really good.
I guess from earlier in before the broadcast, you seem to be very upset with people underrating the Washington Capitals.
They to be fair, they are on a PDO burner too.
Yeah, and they've lost 5 times in OT too.
And,
So
and, I was between them and the New York Rangers for me. The thing with the Rangers that I think have going for them is that their best players, quote unquote, are not their best players right now. So that would be the element where the Kakos and the Lafrenaires are not lighting up the world right now, and so that's a good thing for them. But I do think that if that continues, that team will not be 13-4-3 by the end of the season. Sure. Obviously, good line, Dan. My underrated team, though, for sure is going to go to Montreal. I just think that Montreal, I think people are forgetting that this team is still, with Carey Price coming back. Carey Price can take that team anywhere he wants it to go. And I know that they're missing Shea Weber, and Shea Weber's out for until the playoffs, kind of.
Forever.
he's probably retiring.
So there's that. But I just think that Montreal is going to be one of those teams that we're going to look at and say, they made the playoffs and we were shocked by it kind of idea. So that's my 2.
I will bet you any sum of money that they don't make the playoffs.
I want at least one comma in this number.
They're terrible, Dan. Come on.
I don't think that they're as bad as the numbers say, obviously. Because I think Carey Price is right there. I think Carey Price can take this team anywhere he wants it to go.
To wrap it up, I'll just say overrated, all 3 California teams. They had good starts. They all suck.
100%.
Fuck them. Underrated, Arizona Coyotes. I love them. They make me a lot of money anytime the Oilers play them. Underrated. I wish we could play them every single night because the other night, thank you, Arizona, you You restocked my betting wallet. Thank you very much. Next question, Dan, I'm starting with you first on this one. How many wins will the Oilers have in the bank by the time they tally their 10th loss? They're at 4. The question submitter says, I bet it's 23.
What's our record right now?
They are
15-4?
14-5.
14-5.
So 5 more losses.
I'm just going to look at the schedule quickly and say when I think that they hit 10 or 6 more losses, I guess. I'm into mid-December, and I'm saying no. I will say by the end of December, we will have our 10th loss.
Tyler.
Oh, fuck. I'm trying to do math.
Tyler, your
that's the
check
part that's
math.
got me concerned.
Yeah,
Your rem check
more
math. He's got the
there.
fingers out. He's counting toes. Shoes might come off here right
So
away.
that's 19 and 9. So that's 20.
They play so many games in December.
19 and 9 equals.
I'll say 20. I'll say they'll get to 20 wins. Is that an answer? Does that
20 wins and 10 losses?
Yeah.
Are you including OT losses?
So that's another 10 games. No, I'm counting OTLs as a loss. Fuck everybody.
Yeah. Okay. I'll say that.
Zach?
Whatever my answer was.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna ballpark the end of December, I guess. I can't do the math.
What was the question?
December 22.
When will the team have their 10th loss? Is essentially the question.
82 games will be in the books. The Oilers won't have 10 losses. That's my answer. I don't know how to answer this one.
How many more games will it take for the Oilers to lose 6? That's the better.
Yeah.
guess.
Okay. So yeah, mine's correct. They're gonna get to 20 wins. They'll be 20 and 10.
All right. So that's game 30.
Because they're playing like 500 hockey right now.
So they play 15 games in December.
Yeah.
So you could still theoretically go.
You go whatever you want, really.
You could go 9-6 in December and still
Sure.
be happy with that,
Yeah.
and it'd be at 10 losses. I think. Is that
So end of
that's
December.
I don't fucking
That's
know.
11 losses, I believe.
There's a lot of math going on.
See, I don't even know.
14-5 we are right now. 5 more losses sets you at your limit. So when do they get that fifth loss to put you at the
I was going to say the Olympic break.
Oh, buddy.
I don't know.
If we made the Olympic break with 10 losses, that would be amazing.
We'd be floating if they went that long.
All right, we're
At
going to
least
move on
just
to
before Christmas.
We're going to move on to the next question. Scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most sure. How certain are you that Dylan Holloway... I'm just going to take this one off the...
I want to know.
I'm doing Ron Burgundy again with these fucking questions, and I need to stop doing that. Scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most sure. What is your expectation that Dylan Holloway would be on the Oilers roster by the time Game 1 of the playoffs starts, Rick?
Will he be on by game 1? Yes. He'll be playing hockey somewhere by Christmas.
We're talking about Oilers specifically. Will he be with the Oilers in April?
Yes.
How certain are you? 1 to 10.
Oh, 10, 12, 15.
Zach.
He's playing by Christmas somewhere. So, yes, he's here by then.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna say like a 4 because I could see it being very, very realistic. They just keep him in Baco.
Yep.
And let him play there all season, playoffs included. Let him go on a run with the boys in Baco a little bit, get some good pro experience. Like I don't even know if he's NHL ready. Like he hasn't played any pro hockey games.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying he was NHL ready coming in to the season. Like if it wasn't for his thumb, most of the prognosticators were like he's going to make the roster.
I was a little cool on that take coming into the year. So
And look at the guys he's going to try and replace. He's going to try and have to beat out Turris or Perlini.
Are
Well,
they,
yeah,
are
I
they
think
going to
the
bring him up and put him in the bottom 6 though? I don't know.
It has to be middle 6.
that bottom 6 all of a sudden isn't that big of a thing when you look
yeah,
at
but
that third line.
Okay, but
all
to
of a
be
sudden that's
fair,
something.
then you have 2 rookies on your third line and Holloway.
Well, you can drop him to the
right?
4th line.
You could, right? But I don't know if I love it.
As of right,
if he play,
McLeod was there a little while ago.
if Holloway plays good enough, and he's up on the Oilers, like I'm not going to be upset about it. I'll say that.
Yeah,
So you're
there's-
still at a 4?
Like I'm still at a 4.
yeah, there's
Tyler.
too many ifs. I'm at a 5.
Dan.
I'm saying 10. He's not on the team. I just think that the GM is gonna bring in some.
So your answer is 1.
Or well, yeah, 1, I guess. Sorry, I'm confident that he's not on the team.
Okay.
Because I just think that there's no way that Holland is going to not tweak with this team somehow. And as it sits right now, we already have our young defenseman that's going to play a spot there as Roberg and then Skinner. So I think that Holland's going to start to tweak with the forwards if he's going to do anything.
How many nation personalities does it take to do fucking math here?
So many.
We are
All of them.
struggling.
So many. The with spreadsheet boys, we are not. Just to wrap up, I'll answer. I'm going to say I think it's a 3. I think if the Oilers It's not that I don't think that he can do it, but I think with this specific team, I think that's more likely Ken Holland trades assets to get a Ricard Raquel type over necessarily expecting that a unknown commodity fills that role.
At the very least, I can see him just being on the roster to be here. So
He'll be a black ace.
that's on the roster then. That's a 10 or a 15 if you will.
Oh.
Wasn't the question playing games or
No,
on the
on the
roster?
team.
On the roster.
Well,
But you're
Al.
not on the roster if you're a black ace.
Yeah.
You're on the roster, on the playoff roster.
Oh.
Last question.
They get
Let's
on the
wrap it
Stanley-
up.
They
Ask
get
the
on the
idiots
Stanley Cup.
for
He
Buster's
gets his name
Pizza.
on the cup.
Delicious Buster Pizza.
Buster's Pizza is delicious.
Gray area.
We knew the Oilers
love
were
it.
a deeper team than last year, but that was ice depth, not necessarily bench depth. Meaning if there's injuries that come up, right? Stepping in.
I get it.
Without
Sorry.
bench depth, when any one piece is removed, everyone gets adjusted to accommodate, and the chemistry of lines 3 and 4 especially is lost, making us feel more like a two-player team again. Do you think the Oilers are as deep as we thought they were?
Yes.
Rick starting first. Zach.
You really got some good Ask the Idiots questions. 'Cause
It
we're
definitely makes us feel like idiots, too,
comprehend
doesn't
all of these.
Yeah.
What is
holy
ice depth?
shit.
Last year, Pugliarvi
I
wasn't
think
as good as Pugliarvi is right now. Last year, we didn't have Hyman. Last year, Zach wasn't as good as he is right now. Last
No
year,
Fogle.
McLeod wasn't as good as he is.
no
Last year,
Hyman.
Fogle. Yeah, there wasn't a guy that I think that we lost that we better than Fogle. So I just see there. Yeah, no, we're definitely
More
better.
ice depth.
More ice depth.
And bench depth.
I just think that what
Dressing room
he's
depth also.
what the person he or she is asking is just is the depth. Do you think that the depth is truly better because we haven't seen it necessarily that much on the scoreboard?
Yeah, we saw it earlier in the year.
Yeah.
That really
Sure,
cooled
look at Hyman. Look at Hyman's goals. Look at Pugliarvi's goals.
Would Hyman
Yeah, but
be
they're in the
considered a
top
depth
6.
guy?
For
Yeah,
sure.
they're not top depth guys.
I'm going to go straight up numbers up in this bitch.
Okay.
Which is kind of hilarious because we're all struggling in math. But I'm going to say no because the Oilers' goal differential with McDavid and Draisaitl off the ice is worse than it's ever been in the history of them being in Edmonton. So as much as we can sit here and say, oh yeah, well, Zach Hyman and Fogle, and they look good, the results unfortunately have not been there the way the
Do you think that has anything to do with the other team's coach instead of trying to put his number one against our number one? He's like, fuck it. Anyone go out there and I'll put my number one out there when your guys' worst is out there.
Yeah, but that
Yeah, it
doesn't really
could.
change it. Like,
It's
still
doesn't,
depth, right?
Because
Like-
the problem is that
Well, I just
as
goal
much as-
differential I think might be affected.
But the problem is that even McDavid and Draisaitl aren't outpacing the rest of the Oilers roster in the matchups. So I think that's where you run into the problem.
Tyler, is this team as deep as we thought they were?
not quite. I think early in the year, I was definitely drinking the Kool-Aid on what that third line could do. I think they've cooled a little bit. I still like the depth to maybe bounce back a little bit more than what the numbers say, but I'm not as high on them as I
Haven't
was
they
early in the
proven
year.
themselves already with Roberg, Skinner, Bouchard? Just
No.
those guys weren't around last year. All of a sudden, those guys are like looking like legit.
Bouchard doesn't surprise me. We heard all offseason.
But there were some people that were a little skeptical on how good he's going to be.
Yeah.
In fact, I believe some people said he should start the year in the AHL.
Who said that? People said that?
I believe so.
I don't know.
Leon
It doesn't.
Draisaitl? What?
No, I just think the forward depth, which is what I'm talking about here, is not maybe as great as I thought it was in weeks 1 and 2 of the season.
Dan, we're wrapping up Ask the Idiots here after 48 minutes.
Tyler just said my answer.
All right, there you go. And we are going to pick a winner. Now we got a little drum rolls.
I picked this like a while ago,
This is
but
on
we've
video,
been
too.
waiting for the question to end.
There's Dan. Our winner is for today's Ask the Idiots submission.
Landon.
Landon.
Landon, that is, he did a lot of mental math with his question. Landon is the one that asked us, when will the Oilers be at their 10th loss? Well, Landon, if your goal was to confuse the idiots, you have done a great job. And now you have won a gift card from our friends at Buster's Pizza. I will reach out for you.
Some say he's landed the top prize.
There you go.
Gene Wood.
There you go. Tyler, get your buttons ready. It is time for the Deuce Vodka Hot and Cold Performers of the Week. Let's wrap up this podcast. But first, I got to tell you, if you go to deucevodka.com, first thing you see, I say it every week, handsome picture of Brett Kissel, right front and center. There he is, holding a bottle of Deuce Vodka. And on the right-hand side of the screen, there's a Find In-Store button. You're going to want to click that. That's how you find out where you can pick up a bottle of Deuce Vodka for the weekend, provided that you are of age and plan to drink responsibly. Little Sunday Fun Day Caesars, I recommend Deuce Vodka. As we do every week, we start off with our veggies, looking at the last 7 days. maybe something that didn't go so well for us. I'm going to start to my left. My friend Nation Dan, you are first up with your Deuce Vodka Cold Performer of the Week.
Well, I think everybody's going to have kind of a general theme to their cold performers, but mine's going to go to a very specific play, and it's when Connor McDavid scored his goal against the Arizona Coyotes, and then he took a cross-check to the back of his head, and no call was made. And I understand.
Ridiculous.
I understand that in the situation, they would have called a penalty, and then Connor McDavid scoring would have erased that.
No.
But to me,
That puck went in the net and that play was afterwards. That's a penalty that
fair.
comes up afterwards.
But even if you say that the referees, maybe don't see it in the same time or whatever. But to me, here's where a situation where a fight should happen. As a guy that runs hockeyfights.com, I'm solving a problem for the NHL. You're welcome. Why aren't they using a 10-minute misconduct on a guy like Lyubushkin there? To just take him out of the game and say, you know what, you idiot? You're going to do something after the play like that?
I don't think that really falls into the category of 10 minutes. It's a misconduct.
It would be a misconduct to me.
A nice suplex,
Yeah, but
maybe?
I'm not so we'd have to look at the rule book and see how
D-Bon
things
get the
work
tables?
down. I don't know if that's actually like a
Hit him with
physical
an RKO.
penalty.
Well, to me, it's something that I don't necessarily punish the Coyotes for because it's just it's a heat of the moment play.
Oh, for sure,
But
it's
I
a
think you get
penalty.
that guy off the ice.
For sure, it's a penalty, 100%.
So
So my cold performer of the week is the NHL for not having a rule or some kind of situation created where we can avoid these Lyubushkin kind of cross checks to the back of the head. Right after a goal, you're my cold performer of the week.
Are you thrilled? I'm not.
They pay two guys to make those calls. They're the ones who should be getting shit on right now.
I agree. Tyler, your Deuce Vodka Cold Performer of the Week.
Yeah, I really struggled with one here. I had a really good week. Not a lot negative happened in my personal life. I'm just going to give it to the injuries that the Oilers are facing. It sucks. You want to see the team stay healthy all year, and the fact that all the injuries happen to one incredibly specific part of their lineup as well is weirdly hilarious and unfortunate. So all the injuries.
Oh, that's cold.
Zach Lang, your Deuce Vodka Cold Performer of the Week.
Well, Tyler took mine, and I don't have the time to think of another one, so I'm just going to go with the injuries too.
Oh, that's cold.
Rick, your Deuce Vodka Cold Performer of the Week.
This goes to the NFL. You have all the eyes on you. You're playing 3 games on Thanksgiving, perhaps their biggest holiday of the year, and you put out the worst teams all the goddamn time. You've got an opportunity. Utilize it. Put out the best. Fill up Monday with the best. And who gives a shit about Sunday? NFL, they're the cold performer.
That's a joke. That's an absolute joke is what it is.
How dare you disrespect my Chicago Bears?
I was just mailing it in on the mailbag here on the buttons here.
Bag milk?
I also thought we had some new buttons, but I guess we're...
I think they're the hot ones, though.
Or are you saving one for me?
He's got one. He's got wait.
Oh, it looks like he might be saving
You
one
got a
for me.
good one.
All right. So to earn this button, I'm going to tack on to what Dan said about the refs. My Deuce Vodka Cold Performer of the Week is I challenged myself to watch more hockey because just other teams outside the Oilers, because I wanted to see legitimately if the refs are as bad in our games only, or is this just a league-wide thing? And I was thinking about a game specifically where I was watching the Lightning versus the Islanders. It was a complete trash pit. Nobody knew what was a call. Things that were getting called in the first period were not getting called in the third. And I think that inconsistency is the biggest problem with the referees in this league. So I'm going to say the inconsistencies of the refs and maybe even not calling the rule book. That is my Deuce Vodka Cold Performer of the Week.
You're as cold as ice.
Oh, that's a good
Some
button.
clear favoritism going on between Tyler and Bag Milk.
Yeah, he suggested the button.
Tyler knows how to butter
That's
my
fair.
bread.
That's fair.
Tyler knows how to butter my bread.
I know how to push your buttons.
That's right. Flipping the ledger, we're going to reverse the order. Deuce Vodka Hot Performer of the Week. Rick, I'm starting with you.
Well, let's just give it to Philip Roberg. The guy got called up on an emergency basis, and he looks like he's fitting in quite well. Yeah, you can't ask for much more than a guy right now, so Broberg.
It's getting hot in here.
Love that. Zach, you're next up. Deuce Vodka Hot Performer of the Week.
My hot performer of the week is being back in the office with all of you guys. This is my first official day back in the office in like a year and a half,
Aw.
and it's been really nice.
It is nice, isn't it?
So it's us
Love
being
it.
here with you?
Yeah.
Pour it on.
The real hot performer is the friends you make along the way. And I will say, just because Zach brought it up, chairs are in. TVs are up on the wall. We were watching some live sports before we started recording.
Quality chairs, too, by the way.
They're
all good.
nice.
Check out that Joel Farabee goal if you get a chance.
It's all good stuff. Tyler, you're next up. Deuce Vodka Hot Performer of the Week.
I am going with the Black Friday gear. That Nation gear dropped. It was beautiful. It truly never disappoints. Zach is rocking one of the OG. I think that's one of the OG Black Friday
we did that twice.
piece here. You're rocking the Toque bagged milk as well. It's always great, and this year it did not disappoint.
The big guy is smoking hot.
just since Tyler brought it up, if you want to get in on the blackout collection, go to nationgear.ca. This stuff sells out.
Before Monday.
This stuff sells out, and it is limited time only. So if you're a procrastinator, you're going to miss out. I promise you. Every year, people say, Bag Milk, when is the blackout stuff coming back on the Nation Gear store? And I say, listen, you weren't paying attention.
It's a very high-pitched voice.
You weren't paying attention. I told you it was going to run out, and it did. And now, any order over $100, that's free shipping in Canada as well. Just use the promo code Black Friday. NationGear.ca. Nation Dan, your Deuce Vodka Hot Performer of the Week.
Well, Connor and Lauren did another tour of their house this week. And this one was a little bit more in depth, and it got its usual kind of nonsensical responses from people that comment on style when they've never taken a design course in their life. Anyways,
I thought his house looked cool as fuck, to be honest.
My guy and our guy, friend of the nation, Ryder from Play 107 FM, did the absolute best job.
Unbelievable.
Of trolling, anti-trolling these people, showing off his Shea Lounge, which is just amazing. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, check him out on social media, Ryder FM. And so Ryder, you get my Hot Performer of the Week for your defense of Connor McDavid and Lauren Kyle.
Feeling hot, hot, hot. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
Oh, it's so good.
I love the new buttons. By the way, if you're listening to this and you have a suggestion for a hot and cold performer button, hit us up. We were talking about some new ideas before the podcast started. We need some new ones.
Call the phone number and leave us a message.
We have a phone number?
Don't we have a phone number still?
Voicemail.
We have a real life inbox I haven't checked in 8 years.
Call the real life inbox.
What is that? How do you get that again? Is that like spankbank.com or something like that?
Whoa. No, I don't remember actually. Speakpipe.com/real-life-pod.
See, I knew it was something weird. All right, just to wrap this up. Deuce Vodka Hot Performer of the Week for me is tomorrow, November 27th, is our first Nation viewing party in 2 years. I am so excited to have a room packed full of Nation citizens again to get together. Dan's going to have some trivia. Tyler's going to be your romper chuck. We're going to have prizes. We're going to have a pop-up shop. We're going to have all kinds of shit available for tomorrow's game. I'm super, super excited to get everybody together. We haven't been able to do it forever. It's a big part of the culture around Oilers Nation, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. So my hot performer of the week is everybody that bought a ticket, everybody that we're going to hang out with tomorrow. This baby is sold out. Again, if you're procrastinating, I'm sorry, you can't get in. First Nation viewing party in 2 years. Hot performer of the week.
This is why I'm hot. I'm hot because I'm fly. You ain't because you not.
Oh, Mims.
Also, bonus one. I just saw this from Gene Principe. Chris Russell is 2 blocked shots away from setting the all-time career NHL record for blocked shots.
God
Absolutely.
Damn.
Legendary.
He will pass Brent Seabrook. I don't know when they started counting this. Clearly
What's
not that
Craig
long ago.
Ludwig's number?
I don't even see him on it. It's all just guys who played like recently. So I'm assuming they just started counting block
Ludwig
shots.
used to like
I think it was
melt
in the
his.
mid-90s they started counting it.
Craig Ludwig used to melt his shin pads, so they'd flare out. So they're like wide as goalie pads.
Wow.
Gene Principe.
Anyways.
Good for him for finding that.
It's a big brain shit right there.
Russell has 1,997 career block shots. He is behind only Brent Seabrook. Worth keeping an eye on. Duncan Keith, 5th on that list.
Number 1 and 2.
This is just further proof of the theory that I've been running with over the last few years is that when Chris Russell was a kid, when he was growing up, just getting to play hockey, he's like, Mommy, Daddy, I would like to be a goalie. And they're like, do you have any idea how much goalie pads are? No. And he's like, but I really want to be a goalie, Daddy. And they were like, no. So now he's just become one in his own right.
Sure.
There you go.
Sounded like a Giuseppe commercial. That's a real life joke.
From our friends at DoorDash, Oodle Noodle, Cornerstone Insurance, Deuce Vodka, Busters.
Slow down. He's getting ready.
Of course, yeah. We get Tyler
Here,
again.
we'll give him a quick shout out to for a hot performer to Panarin for throwing the glove at Marchand today.
Just gonna say that.
There we go. Tyler's got the buttons going. From DoorDash, Oodle Noodle, Cornerstone Insurance, Deuce Vodka, and Buster's Pizza. I'm Bag Milk, Dan, Tyler, Rick, Zach. This is Oilers Nation Radio, episode 168. Huge game tomorrow. Can't wait to see a bunch of you at the viewing party. That's all for the week. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Shout out to Artemi Panarin.
Thanks for listening to Oilers Nation Radio, delivered by DoorDash. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram.